Hi, my name is Vasily Tolstoy, and I'm a member of the programming committee of the Linux-Peter 16 conference, at which we are now. And I'm talking with the Paolo Valente, the speaker of our conference. Hi, Paolo.
Hi. Hi.
So please, oh, it was an interruption.
Intentional.
Non-intentional interruption. Please tell our listeners and viewers who you are, what you're doing, where you're doing that.
Okay. So I'm an assistant professor from the University of Modena, Reggio Emilia in Italy. I am keen on hacking the Linux kernel, and I'm doing this actually as an external contractor of Linaro. Okay, so basically this is what I'm doing related to Linux.
Great, as we all are, here at least. You're giving a talk at this conference, so can you tell us in more or less few words what your talk is about?
Yeah. So this talk is about the quest for low latency in Linux. Because one of the long-standing problems in this operating system is that it suffers from high, sometimes very high latency problems. You just see your system, your PC, your device, if it's the case of Android, you just see it stuck for reasons that more or less you don't know. Well, in many cases, the problem is in the I/O. Somehow, the system does the wrong things when there is pressure on I/O, and so you just end up with your system being, I don't know, sometimes even unusable for a few seconds. Well, it depends on the workload. So I have been working on solutions to this problem, and today I will report somehow on my results, on my main results. And to sum up these results, how can I say, the main outcome of this effort has been a new I/O scheduler named BFQ. And after a few years of attempts to get it mainlined, finally, last week at the kernel summit at Santa Fe, it seems that we got a success because it got somehow accepted, and there is still some work to do to have it in mainline. But the block maintainer, Jens Axbo, volunteered to do part of the infrastructure that we need. So if everything goes well, in the next month, this new scheduler may make it into mainline. And if it works as it seems to work, it may solve part of these latency problems in Linux. So we will see in the future what is about to happen.
Well, actually, I guess we all are waiting for that. Even in our company, we got the similar problem of the stupidity's magnitude. Have solved it in more or less in a hacking way. So it's great to know that there is an official solution for that at last. I guess we're not alone who are suffering from this problem. So, what can you, from your subjective point of view, say about what interesting things, what the most important changes has happened in Linux and free software community in general in last time, maybe a year or two?
Okay. Well, I will tell you something related to I/O. The main change, the main shift that is occurring is a move toward much higher speeds, because new high-speed storage devices have radically changed the landscape. These new devices are able to serve millions of requests per second. And this is a real challenge for a system, for the software part of the system, for the operating system. Because if the operating system is not efficient enough, it just cannot keep the pace with such a high speed. So now we have these very fast devices, and this is exciting, especially for enterprises. But at the same time, the operating system is lagging behind the sort of incredible speed of these devices. So the most important changes from this point of view has been a radical improvement in Linux to handle these new devices, and this improvement has a name. This name is BlockMQ. So the new version of the block layer, which thanks to several improvements, so parallelization, improvement of efficiency, and so on, can now handle. It seems to be good to handle this very high speed. So it can reach millions. It can process millions of IOPS as it is needed by these new very fast devices. So I think this is one of the most exciting things that is happening right from the last 3 or 4 years and still happening today. I don't know, even a few minutes ago, last emails have arrived with people saying, okay, this is not working, this must be improved, I have this problem here, because this new block layer, okay, it's very good, but it's sort of very young, and it is addressing complex issues, and how can I say, somehow the curtain is short, so if you pull it somewhere, you don't have it in another place, so it's very, very, very interesting.
Okay, and going a bit deeper, and what do you think about the, well, in a sense, a struggle or maybe a partnership between the traditional I/O for with the high-speed devices like flash disks and the non-volatile memory, which is quite a different way to see the same problem.
Yeah.
What do you think will win at the end? In what direction we're going? So it will be more high-speed I/O devices handled with the standard, well, much improved stack, or the Linux will drift into the non-volatile memory approach when you just write there and assume that it's there?
Well, I think somehow the paradigm of non-volatile memory is an abstraction, but below the mechanisms to have non-volatile memory, especially you want a fast non-volatile memory because you want it to be very similar to your main memory, to your volatile memory. Well, the mechanisms below are the same. So this is not a struggle. This is making it possible both for the block I/O paradigm and for the non-volatile paradigm. Because in the end, below, you still have I/O and you still have storage. Just, how can I say, it's a different way, you wear a different hat and you see it as just memory, but the technology that is below all of this is more or less the same. So these improvements in fast block I/O will are contributing to this move towards non-volatile memory, which seems to be probably the ultimate version of handling storage, because it's, how can I say, it's such a clean way of seeing things. It's memory.
Yes,
so,
it looks like it. But I remember even in this well-known PhD thesis when the RAID were introduced, shame on me, I forgot the name of the classics who wrote that. It was said that, well, there is a 10 times price coefficient between the memory and disks, but sooner or later the disk will become, well, the memory will become so cheap that it will replace disk, and it seems that we are singing the same song all the time. Sometimes we'll store it in memory, but the memory still lives forward. So my personal opinion that probably it will still live with disk or flash disks for a long time. So what do you think? And what would be the next step? What would be the next interesting thing it's very subjective, of course. What, from your point of view, would be the next interesting thing in, again, the Linux and free software community? What's cooking there?
I think that somehow this, remaining on the I/O side, which is where I'm more or less more practical. Well, not only I/O, I think that in the next year, the change of Linux toward a highly parallelized system will be complete, because this seems to be the only way to go. You have seen it with multi-core system. If you look at network interface, you see multiple queues. If you look at I/O, high-speed device, you see multiple queues again. So I think that we are going towards a system that will be, how can I say, intrinsically parallel. So I think this is something new that is still going to happen. I don't know, maybe we will reach a point where we will check the memory on one side and we'll say, oh, this is high parallel. I/O, oh, this is high parallel. And network, oh, high parallel. So maybe at a certain point we will say, okay, this is time to acknowledge that we have to make something, an operating system that is intrinsically parallel to handle the fact that everything is parallel now. So maybe something like that might happen. I don't know, this is just sort of vision, but who knows?
It's a very interesting vision, by the way.
Everything is parallel behind, so...
Personally, I like it. How to say, switching to the wide-angle lens, not limiting to the Linux and free software, what interesting things, technical, social, or well, just purely geek, has you seen lately? What has touched you, or what you would like to put a red dot on?
Well, I do hope that Linux and the free software movement, open source, and so on, I do hope that it will go on having this special care for, how can I say, people who need help, because somehow there is a sort of special sensitivity in, can I say, free software people. We are sort of idealists with free software, so somehow we are more sensitive towards other forms of idealism, like helping, can I say, people who need it to have a better life. I think we are already doing that in many cases, and I do hope that we will go on and that we will see good results with many people. This is my hope. This is something that I would really assign.
It's very nice, and I know that it's happening actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Going a bit more personal, and what's the operation system of your home computer?
Well, from a few months, I'm using OS X. I'm testing it, and today I'm here with my OS X system, and I wanted people to say, "Oh, why are you using it?" so that they could remember me. But yesterday I saw a lot of people with Macs. I said, oh, wow, no, this is not original. So I think now it is time for me to test some Debian distribution on my Mac. This is somehow the ultimate thing that I want to try. And on my other PCs, I am using just Ubuntu, and Fedora. Arch Linux. So you may say, which one do you use? Well, the reason why I'm using several is for testing, because since I'm working on this I/O scheduler, I'm trying to make sure that it works well with the, how can I say, the idiosyncrasies of almost any distribution. So some distribution does something in a certain way, think of system D, and Upstart, but now there's only systemd. But okay, so I happened to discover several times that something was done in a different way in this distribution with respect to the other. So now I don't have an identity, I don't have a distribution of choice. I'm just trying to move over all of these and trying to cross my finger and say, okay, it seems to work on all of this. And how can I say, I like all of them. They are funny, they're interesting, they're well done, they're well engineered. So if I had to make a choice, well, this would be really hard because there is always something new and exciting and interesting happening in every distribution. This is my personal opinion.
Okay, you were very polite. So guys from the distributions, they were all happy or all unhappy. But
or maybe nobody will be happy.
But the same way.
Yeah.
We now are at the conference. So what do you think? Why the conferences are important? What's the reason the trend?
Yeah.
Raise on the trend.
Yeah, this is a really good question. Well, I wondered the same question several years ago at school because we were studying all these, how can I say, Greek philosophers, thinkers, writers. And I said, well, but are they so important? Because somehow normal people is somewhere and they live in a sort of different universe with their high thoughts and so on. So one may say that's also in this case we are a sort of small community and people out there may just don't care. But this is false because then if you look at the past, you see that people that spent a lot of time thinking and doing new things and developing new things, design new things, in the end, slowly, all of this percolated in the society and the society improved. We are really different from how we were 1,000 years ago. And this mostly happened because of people thinking on the future and where to go, giving visions, giving directions that then we all followed. And so I think that now here we are doing the same and we are actually at the edge of our culture because information technology somehow is driving the future. So I think that our role here is really important, not only for the practical contributions that we are providing, but also because we are somehow, how can I say, we are investigating the future and trying to see ahead to what is happening. Yeah.
Yes. And well, we are almost running out of time, I guess. But what specific conferences can you recommend to visit or to listen to materials from?
Well, I've started to follow several Linux conferences for about 2 or 3 years. I find them very interesting. You must consider that I come from the university, so academic conferences much more theoretical and so on. So, but about Linux, well, I did like Linux-Con because it's very broad, very general, and I do like conferences like this one because in something so big as Linux-Con, okay, you find a lot of people, companies and so on. But here you can really feel the true spirit of Linux. So I do recommend conferences like this. I do wish that you will go on, that your success will grow. And I think that all the people here confirm that the rooms are full, people are standing because there are not enough seats. So go on this way, and I really like conferences like this one.
Thank you, Paolo.
Thank you too.
Goodbye.